Today we are going to be painting these old style Christmas lights. These are my favorite. They're what are on my tree right now, and I wanted to paint them with you. Part of what I love about this for a painting watercolor is that we've got primary colors, which is very fun, and it's glass. So the thing that makes glass look like glass are the reflections. When I traced the picture onto my watercolor paper, I was sure to paint in those areas or trace in those areas so that we would know to avoid them when we begin painting. I believe I'm going to leave the back without any color. But let's go ahead and start with this pretty red. So I've got my Winsor & Newton set that we'll be working with today. And I'm going to use I believe a combination of permanent rose and red. So I'm going to take the Winsor red and I've got that over here. In fact, I may even just leave it like that. Now, I've taken care here to really make sure that we don't paint where there should be white. So I'm going to just take this red and bring it in. I'm using my Princeton Heritage Round 16, and again, I'm avoiding these places where I just want to show a glare, a light almost reflection. I'm filling in this whole area. And there is a bright yellow in the middle here, and maybe I should have started with that actually. So I'm gonna grab my yellow and see if I can get a little bit of this yellow on my brush, and I'm gonna fill that yellow in. There's some yellow dots over here and even a little yellow right there. So I'm gonna do that, and I see the yellow right here as well, and I'm gonna bring that in on this one. Okay. There's a little yellow coming up over here. And that's looking good. Okay, now I'm gonna go back, grab that round 16. And pick up my red. And I'm going to be careful not to touch that yellow, to bleed into that yellow too much. And we're color mapping right now, right? We're getting the red down. We can go in and darken it up later, which we'll want to do to get rid of those lines that I just created by pausing. All right, here. I'm gonna grab more red And, you know, that's darker over here. And thick red over here. And down here, you can see it's like a little green. There's a little bit of a reflection happening down in this area where my brush is. And what I really would like to do down here is I would like to pull in just a little green. I'm going to use the Hooker green in the Winsor & Newton set, and I'm going to just dab that in down here. Yeah, and let that kind of come up a bit, and it will kind of soak in. So now we're going to let that dry, and while that's drying, I'm going to work on the yellow one over here. So again, I'm going to pick up that same yellow that I was using right here, and I'm going to bring it in over here. Nice yellow light. I'm going to avoid this down here. There's a lot going on in that area. And just pulling this down. All right, so that yellow is done. And now I'm gonna work on the orange. So I'm gonna pick up my Winsor orange. And that is this back one. And you know, part of what I love about this particular watercolor is the primary colors make it fun. It's somewhat quick. And it's so festive. It really captures this time of year so well. As I said, these are the Christmas lights that are currently on my Christmas tree. All right, now those are the lights that we can do until they need to dry. And while they're drying, we're gonna do this down here part. This is green, and I'm gonna grab the Hooker green from my Winsor & Newton set, and I'm gonna color map that in. So I'm going to just bring that in. You know, we can darken it up in certain places, but it's basically all green in here. And I'll grab that over here as well. And we'll bring shadowing in on this to give it depth and make it look round. But we're just getting the color down right now. We are doing what is known in watercolor as glazing. We're just getting the initial colors down, and we'll come back and we'll add more after it kind of dries. But we're gonna have to let it dry. we go. Okay. So again, we are letting this dry, and once that dries, we're going to come in and do the blue and the green and add some more color in here. While we're waiting for this to dry, we can get in here in this area and a little bit even in here and start bringing in that green. So there's a little green in here. It's where the bulb comes up. And we've got that same kind of thing happening here. In fact, I think we can get this whole guy green, which let's go ahead and do that. I think the bulb, I want to make it a Winsor green. And I'm going to grab my round 16 once again, and I'm going to pick up my Winsor green. This is a little bit of almost a mintier shade, and hopefully it's dry enough. Again, we want to make sure we're leaving those white spots because that's what's going to make it look like glass. I want to get this nice and dark over here. I'm going to bring this green down even in here on this one. There we go. Okay, this is looking good. Again, this needs to do a little bit of drying, and while this is drying, I think I can begin getting in here with some more color. So what I want to do, I think that the shadows on this part of the electrical piece is almost like a Payne's gray. And I think that, let's see here, if we just go like this and like this. It's looking good. I think this is dry enough for us to get in here like that. And almost giving it a little edge down here. And these guys have their little edges in here and right here and right here. To really kind of make it, yeah, like a little shadow. Okay, that's looking very good. I'm liking the looks of that. Let's see what else we can do while we are waiting for other pieces to dry. I think I can bring some more red in here. So I'm going to bring the red down in here. And I'm going to darken up the red in this area right here. That green didn't quite take the way I hoped it would, so I'm going to have to come back in. Maybe I'll put a little blue to make it turn that green that I hoped it would turn. And really darkening it up in some spots here. So it's almost like there's a little line reflection that happened right there. See how I did that? I darkened it up around there. Really trying to make it a darker, richer red. Just moving around this yellow, trying to darken it up around the yellow as well. Making this bulb nice and bright. And there's a little red in here. And in here. Kind of goes like this. I'm gonna get it a little more wet. Okay. And I see there's a little bit of orange that's happening down here. You can see it. And I want to bring that in. And it just got a little of that green in. That's fine. Okay. Oh, this got in here. Okay, I'll touch that up in a bit. As you can see, a little green bled into my orange. I can touch that up. I'm going to come back in and darken that up when it dries. Now, in the meantime, yeah, we'll just let things dry and then we'll come back and do a little bit more. Okay, I'm darkening up this orange right here. And the orange in the picture is more of a reddish orange. So I could, if I wanted to, mix a little bit of reddish and orange together to really make my orange a little less yellow if I wanted to. At the moment, I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm fine with the contrast that I'm getting, and keep getting a little bit of that green. Oop, I'm making it worse. Using a paper towel to see if I can lift that green up off. And I got most of it up. Okay. And let's just take orange over that, strong orange. And it's looking really good here. There we go. That nice orange is standing out back there. Now, when that dries, I'll be able to come in and work on this blue. We're gonna attempt the blue now, and I'm hoping that the orange is dry enough. And I'm using the Indian Theron blue in my Winsor & Newton set for this particular one. And again, it's pretty dark. Yeah, there we go. Picking up quite a bit of pigment, trying to keep little water on my brush and more pigment than water. And I'm, again, just taking a lot of care. I'm using my round 6 here because I want to take a lot of care to leave those white spots to really make it look like glass. All right. Now, I'm going to darken it up down here. Okay. And I believe this one is almost about done. I could do a little touch of violet right here. And a little touch of violet right here. And I've got that same little, it's gonna be the green, the little red right in here. And in here. And that color comes down here. And even is in here quite a bit as well. And okay. I'm gonna take that violet down here. Okay, and voila, we have our Christmas ornaments. What do you think? Do you love it? I hope you've enjoyed painting. I can't wait to paint with you again next week.